Greetings of love and peace of our blessed Lord. Today, we would be focusing on the theme Love that Nurtures Peace. We look at this theme through Saint Anne, our patroness, the bearer of her daughter, our mother, the Blessed Virgin Mary, who brought forth a son, our Lord Jesus, the Prince of Peace. Blessed Anne became a channel to Our Lady to love and to bring forth peace around her. Together, let us reflect the motherly love of our patroness, whose nurturing care surely formed Our Lady, enabling her to become the vessel of peace for the world. For our reflection, we shall have three parts based on the theme Love that Nurtures Peace. The first part, we shall look on the virtue of Saint Anne's motherly love. And in the second part, how this motherly love nurtured our Blessed Mother to have love within her and to bring forth peace. And in the third part, we shall look into how this love brings peace within our hearts to the society and the world. Venerable Fulton Sheen says in the book, The World's First Love, that every person carries within his heart a blueprint of the one he loves. All human love is an initiation into the eternal. St. Paul tells us that we were predestined before the foundations of the world were laid to become the sons of God. But some of us will not fulfill that hope. There is actually only one person in all humanity of whom God has one picture and in whom there is a perfect conformity between what He wanted her to be and what she is, and that is His own mother. Mary is the model and copy of perfection. She is all that was foreseen, planned, and dreamed. The melody of her life is played just as it was written. Mary was thought, conceived, and planned as the equal sign between the ideal and history, thought and reality, hope and realization. Christian liturgy frequently applies the words of the book of Proverbs to our Blessed Mother, recognizing in them a profound reflection of her virtues and mission. In the first part, we shall see the virtue of motherly love of Saint Anne. The fathers of the church argued that her mother's love is a most powerful when it acts as the primary source of Christian education, shaping the moral character of future generations. A few of them are listed here. St. Gregory of Nyssa, in his work Life of St. Macrina, Gregory wrote with a deep affection about his mother Emilia. He described her motherly love not as mere pampering but as an active, holy stewardship where Emilia educated her children using the scriptures. Saint Basil the Great, the brother of Gregory of Nyssa, openly credited his mother Emilia and his grandmother Macrina the Elder for his theological foundation. He wrote that the greatest gift of his mother's love was her care in implanting the tradition of the faith into his heart from early infancy, shielding him from worldly corruptions. With regard to Saint Anne, whose motherly love was so clearly depicted on our Blessed Mother that Saint Cyril of Jerusalem emphasized the spiritual groundwork laid by Mary's parents. He and other fathers noted that through Saint Anne's receptive and nurturing love, the Blessed Mother was taught the law and prepared to humbly declare, Behold the handmaid of the Lord. It is fitting to think that Saint Anne, through her example and instruction, nurtured these virtues in her daughter. In the second part, we shall see Saint Anne's nurturing love that shaped Virgin Mary, who became the bearer of peace. All of us as SAB family know and are obliged to have knowledge of our patroness Saint Anne. According to the opinion of St. Augustine, She was of the priestly tribe. The laws of nature were reversed before the Lord's design. Saint Anne, sterile for 20 years, conceived miraculously and gave birth to her who was to bring forth the Son of God, the desired of nations, the divine Redeemer of the human race. In the ceilings of the Cathedral of St. Anne in Washington, St. Anne is shown teaching her daughter Mary to read. The Latin text in honor of St. Anne translates, "The tongues of the pious magnify your offspring, and every joyful word is spoken concerning your child." It was St. Anne and St. Joachim who cultivated in the young Mary a love for God, preparing her for her role in the story of divine redemption. Surely nothing can be more pleasing to Mary than to venerate a holy mother. The Blessed Virgin appeared once to a pious servant, Saint Louis de Montfort, who wanted to repeat many prayers daily in her honor and above all the Ave Maria. The reason of this was that she might exhort him to salute and pray to Saint Anne, a glorious mother. The pious servant, replying that he knew not how to pray to her, the Blessed Virgin instructed him thus: in reciting the Ave Maria, when you shall have said, "And blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus," you will add, "And blessed be Holy Anne, thy mother, from whom was taken thy virginal and immaculate flesh," thus offering a double homage to her. Pope Francis remarked of Saint Anne and Saint Joachim in their home, which were part of a long chain of people who had transmitted their faith and love of God, expressed in the warmth and love of family life, down to Mary, who received the Son of God in her womb and gave him to the world and to us. How precious is the family as the privileged place for transmitting the faith. It is said that St. John Bosco worked with troubled and often aggressive street boys. He was inspired by Blessed Mother as he addressed her, "Mary, help of Christians." While he was monitoring his boys, instead of harsh punishments, he used kindness, patience, and personal attention. Many of the boys changed their behavior because they felt loved and respected, creating a peaceful community around them. How can we, as SABs, cultivate the virtue of love and peace? It was said in a community of St. Teresa of Avila, a young novice kept breaking glasses while washing them. The mistress did not scold her. She came quietly, took the next glass, and washed it slowly. Then she said, "Feel the water, child, it belongs to God too." After a week, the novice became calmer. She stopped breaking the glasses. The washing area was so peaceful again. This is how Saint Anne would have lovingly formed and guided our Blessed Mother. Allow me to reflect and to add from St. Augustine, who defines peace in his monumental work, City of God, as the tranquility of order. In his own words, the peace of heavenly city is the perfectly ordered and harmonious enjoyment of God and one another of God. We can only be at peace when we love the way God has shown us. By His grace, we can love Him firstly and above all things. Then we love our neighbor as ourselves in God. The fire of divine love purifies our self centeredness so that we love God and our neighbor rather than our own corrupted passions. Peace, then, is no mere absence of conflict but a positive pursuit of the good. Coming to the third part, we shall see that love creates peaceful communities as peace begins at home. The four Gospels depict Jesus as possessing a sublime serenity as he was interrogated by Pilate, Herod, the high priest, and even as he was flogged and crucified. He knew he is doing his Father's will, and he was perfectly at peace in his spirit because the Lord loved his Father and each one of us. Love begins in me, not outside. We see that Jesus loved himself truly. He knew that he was the replica of the Father's love. He knew that love by its nature is selfless, self emptying, and unconditional. He knew that love means a cheerful gift of oneself to others without counting the cost. He experienced that it does not lead to unhappiness but to lasting happiness, joy, and inner peace. It said that St. Thomas More cracked jokes as he ascended the platform of his beheading. St. Joan of Arc smiled peacefully as she was tied to the stake and burned alive. The Carmelite nuns of the camping in France during the French Revolution sweetly sang the hymn of Vieni Creator Spiritus as they went to the guillotine, bloody victims of the Enlightenment. G.K. Chesterton put it this way: the men that drink the blood of God go singing to their shame. We could multiply the examples in the saints who faced hardship with peace and joy. This peace came from ordering their souls rightly. The tranquility of order arose in them by loving God above all things, despising their passions, loving their neighbors in God, despising self interest. These are a few examples of perfect peace, untouched by distractions that arise when the soul is fixed on the Lord. Such people does not originate from the world, they originate from God, because peace flows naturally from the Lord himself, the eternal source of peace. The last words of our blessed mother were spoken in the sacred scriptures were the words of total abandonment to the will of God. Do whatever he tells you to do. As Dante, an Italian poet, writer, and philosopher, said, in God's will is our peace. Love has no other destiny than to obey Christ. Peace in the world begins in our own personal actions first and then in public forums. We can't build justice in society if we ignore it here at home. And we can't protect our own rights unless we defend the rights of the weakest members of our society. Unrest always springs forth from unrest we first feel in our hearts. Wars on the field of battle are but manifestation of wars within the soul. Peace is a fundamental pillar of human existence. At its core, peace represents a state of tranquility and harmony both within oneself and among individuals, communities, and nations. Pope Leo XIV asked on Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, on the very day marking the 63rd anniversary of the encyclical Pacem Terris by Pope St. John 23rd, that same call has become universal and is addressed to the millions and billions of men and women, young and old, who today choose to believe in peace and who are caring for the wounds and repairing the damage left behind the madness of war. Pope Leo appeals that children of particular attention to be given to the voices of children who have seen their groups die under bombs in Gaza, in Iran, in Ukraine, and in many other parts of the world. He, on the evening of Saturday, April 11th, 2026, during the prayer vigil, he convoked to implore an end to the wars currently underway and appealed to the overwhelming majority of people throughout the world who want peace to believe in peace, to pray for peace, and to build it day by day. Unless souls are saved, nothing is saved. There can be no world peace unless there is soul peace. The modern soul, which cannot live with itself, cannot live its fellow men. A man who is not at peace with himself will not be at peace with his brothers and sisters. These inner conflicts extend to neighborhoods, cities, and to the other countries causing war. Therefore, our loving process begins in ourselves, not in others. How do we love ourselves? To know how much we love ourselves, we can look at how we treat others because we often love ourselves in the same way. If we discover that our love is selfish or focused only on ourselves, we might feel upset. But that feeling is important. It shows that we still have more to learn about ourselves and that we need to understand ourselves better. Blessed Mother is the Queen of Peace. Our mother doesn't rule by power but love. She keeps pointing us patiently, persistently toward the only kind of peace that lasts. The world needs that peace right now, and that starts here, right now in our communities with our flaws and wounds. She urges her children to recognize that we are all members of one family and to build communities. Building communities that promote harmony and the common good of all that requires us to listen to one another and to engage in respectful dialogue. May our patroness, the mother of our Blessed Mother, intercede for us. May we come bearers of love that nurtures peace within, around, and to the world at large. Let us gaze on the words of our blessed Lord. Let us gaze on the words of our blessed Lord. Peace I live with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. John 14:27. Saint Anne, our patroness, intercede for us. Thank you.